Hello and welcome to another episode of Junior Fisherman. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you my rod and reel arsenal. Now, I don't actually have that many rods. I take that back. I don't have that many reels. I have a lot more rods than I do reels. Corner back there, which has several rods in it, and that entire corner over there. The rods that I do have, they're ones that I enjoy using and the ones that I use the most. These out here are my main rods and reels that I use, along with a few that are used in saltwater or areas like that. And then a couple vintage rod and reels I have that are... So first off, we have spinning rods. This is my personal favorite right here. It is a Matsuo graphite rod blank spinning rod. 6'6", that's my favorite length. It's nice. Ow. Man, forgot I had a hook on there. So this particular rod is very well built, however, it is only $15, which comes with the reel. This is not the reel it comes with. This is my Outdoor Angler 2000 size spinning reel. Actually bought another one in a different color than the first one, which you can see the review video of. However, this reel here is an absolutely insane reel. It has crystal smooth drag, or silk smooth drag. I guess crystals aren't very smooth. A very nice rubberized handle. It's just a very nice reel. I have 15-pound braid on this with a 8-pound. I usually do an 8-pound or 12-pound leader on this, and then I have a carp braid on here. However, the only downside I have to this rod is, if you look, when you hold it perfectly straight with the reel down, they put the guides on slightly, like, offsetted, so they're sort of out to the side. I haven't found that to do any sort of hindrance when you're fishing. It just doesn't look the best. Now, it does have a hook keeper and a split grip, which usually you do not find on cheaper rods. So this is probably my main rod and reel that I use, multi-species. This is a good inshore fishing rod and reel, and it is overall one of my favorites. Then moving on to more of finesse fishing or creek fishing rod and reel. A lot of times, this reel is my finesse / creek / small fishing reel, but usually I put it on that rod, on the Matsuo rod, if I'm going really finesse. However, this is one of my favorite rod and reel combos. Oftentimes I'll switch the reel up and put that reel on here, but this rod is one of my favorites. This was my first Outdoor Angler spinning reel that I got, and it's lasted quite a while. I mean, it doesn't really make that much noise. It's gotten a little wobbly, and I'm sure it won't last too much longer, but it was only $15. They have 8-pound test on here, 8-pound string, and it's a nice little reel, both 2000 size, and both are, that's just the size reel I use the most. Now, this rod is an Ugly Stik GX2, and it's a pack rod, so it breaks down into 4 pieces. Yes, breaks down into 4 pieces so it can fit in a backpack or anywhere. You'd see this rod in action in my Florida fishing video when I was fishing for houndfish. This is the rod I used because it was the only rod I had that was my travel rod. It's a rod to travel with, and then this reel I use for finesse fishing. When I travel with this rod, I don't use this reel. I don't recommend using 8-pound test mono if you're traveling, because you never know if you don't know what you're going to be fishing for. Bring a reel that has at least 15-pound braid. I recommend a spinning reel for that, simply because it's a little more versatile. You can throw light stuff, but you can also throw heavy stuff on this rod. I use 2000 size spinning reel, and usually I put that reel with 15-pound braid on here, because that 15-pound can handle just about everything. And that's my travel rod that I like to use. The reason I like these Outdoor Angler 2000 size reels for traveling is the handle folds like this, and it's extremely compact. Next up we have my bait caster, which is the one baitcaster I hold, I put some 15-pound fluorocarbon on it, but that 15-pound fluorocarbon didn't last very long, so I'm putting some 30-pound braid back on it. However, this is a Lew's Speed Spool baitcasting reel with a Browning Stiliflex rod on it, which is a older rod, but a very nice rod. This is a fiberglass rod. It's one I was using for moving baits up a Canyon Lake last weekend. However, if I'm just fishing baitcaster, I don't use that reel. I use that rod. Where did it go? If I'm just gonna bass fish and stuff, oftentimes bring this rod for kayak fishing, and I use a heavier rod, a medium action instead of a graphite instead of fiberglass, which I can fish just about everything on. And I mean, once again, it's a very nice reel. It's probably the most expensive reel I have. I don't buy a lot of expensive reels, but this one's extremely nice and works very well. I've caught several nice large bass on it, and it's a very fun reel to fish. And this is the only baitcaster rod and reel combo that I own. I don't use them a lot. I prefer spinning reels, not because I can't cast the baitcaster, but because the applications I fish don't usually call for a baitcaster, but I have them in case I go frogging or crankbaits, that kind of stuff. Moving on to catfish, which is one of my favorite targets, although I will fish for anything, anywhere, anytime. I have the Shakespeare Cat Stick, which is essentially a extremely beefy ugly stick that they put different color on. It is an ugly stick though. This is a 7-foot rod, which is good length. It's got a decent reel on it. The reel's pretty cheap, and I've used it several times. This was actually the first spinning rod and reel that I got, because I didn't know anything about the action of rods. I didn't know there was some more heavier, so I got this and I was like, oh good. Now I can go out and throw, little tiny swim baits with it and bobbers. And needless to say, that didn't work very well. So I then bought a different Shakespeare. Buying Shakespeare because they're cheaper. I still like them. Different combo, I don't know what it was called, but that one lasted a good couple years, and then the reel got demolished. The rods always outlast the Shakespeare reels. Shakespeare rods are absolutely awesome, but the reels that they come in their combos tend to kind of disintegrate after a little while. This one's starting to disintegrate. You can see some little pieces of plastic coming out of it when you reel. Fortunately, so I'm going to be getting a new reel for this rod. I have 50-pound test braid on here because I use it for catfish and the ocean. When I get a new reel for this rod, I will simply put this braid back on a different reel. But for a beginner catfish rod and reel, this is a great option. Just don't expect the reel to last that long. So for the rod, it's got this very fluorescent tip up here. I have a glow stick that's probably a year old glued onto it that doesn't do anything anymore. Take that off. It's got one piece stainless steel, or I think it's stainless, whatever the aluminum guides, I believe. And it is fiberglass, I believe. It says that it can 15-pound to 8-pound line. Well, unless you're using braid, then you can go up to 50. Or then you could probably go up to whatever, probably 80. I'd say you could put however heavy braid you want in here. 7 foot, it's medium action. No, it's more like a medium heavy. And those are the specs. I like this rod a lot. It's caught me quite a few big catfish, such as, he's not up on my ball of fishing pictures, but I caught a 7.5-pound blue catfish out of Canyon Lake with that rod. So it works quite well. Then we have my all-time favorite rod. I absolutely love panfish fishing more than just about everything. Fishing for sunfish of all different varieties is by far the most fun way to fish. Now, that also includes bass. Bass are a species of sunfish, so sunfish. So if I say I enjoy fishing for sunfish, that means both bluegill, red-eared sunfish, largemouth bass, and all the species of black bass, which are actually sunfish, not true bass. This is a little tiny Shimano reel, which I love, and got it at a garage sale. They do not make this anymore. It's a Shimano Axis camera. I believe it has like 7 ball bearings, and it's just tiny. I don't have big hands, but look at that. It's tiny. I have 2 pound tests on here, and this is a little Shakespeare. Told you I like Shakespeare. Micro Series ultralight rod. If I do not fish it on that rod, I will fish it on one of 2 different rods. It's over here. I fished that on one of 2 different rods. That rod, or this rod, which is a longer 6'6" Berkeley Stinger rod, which is a little bit of a vintage rod. They don't make that anymore. Neither do they make that reel. Moving on to the heftiest rod I own, which is also one of the oldest and most beat up rods I own. And it is a Nautilus. It's a Murado Nautilus E-Glass surf rod. And it's in okay condition. It was bought at a garage sale. It's old, and you can tell it's been used a ton. The grips are kind of falling off, but it does still work quite well as a surf rod. The guides are slightly worn, but still work quite well for its purpose. I like to look at this rod and think of how many large fish were caught on it. Just by how used you can tell that it is. You can see it's got the butt here is just cracked from salt, and then all the handles as well. But it still is a definitely functioning surf rod. It's a 10-foot surf rod. When I get a new catfish reel, that will be going on the surf rod, and it should work quite well. It's a little beat up, but I think it should be able to handle some more use. I used a reel with 50-pound braid on this rod because you never can tell what you're going to catch in the surf. And I'm not sure if they make that rod anymore. I have no idea. It's a 10-foot rod, but I'm not entirely sure. Never seen it before. Then we have a flippin' and pitchin' / frogging stick. I don't have a bait caster for this rod, but I have the one bait caster. However, if I know I'm going to be fishing a lot of frogs or flipping and pitching heavy cover, this is the rod I'll bring. It's a heavy action 3/8 to 2 ounce lure weight, 10 to 30 pound line. And it's a Bass Pro Shops Pro Series pitching stick. IM6 graphite, whatever that means, blah blah. And then their grip thing, which I had to fix a little bit, some epoxy. However, it's a nice fishing rod. It's 1 piece and 6 foot. 6 foot. 6 foot heavy. This is a broomstick. It can barely bend it. And it's perfect for flipping heavy cover. And it's a great fishing rod. For frogging as well. That is my rod reel arsenal. Thanks for watching. Get out there and catch some more fish.